Hi guys, it's Ksenia. Welcome back to my channel. So today I have a single dedicated perfume review on this fragrance right here, which I have been wanting to get my hands on for a minute now. I've said on my channel that I've been on the lookout for this fragrance. So today I'm going to be reviewing Ellis Brooklyn Apple Love. This is a new release. I believe it came out like a couple months ago, so it's not like new, but I talked about it in a like new perfume releases video. And this has been out on the Sephora website for a couple months, like I said, but it was out of stock on their website for the longest time. You could get it on the Ellis Brooklyn website, but I didn't really want to go through the blind buying route with this. I kind of wanted to smell it in store, and I checked on it the other day just randomly to see if it was in store, and I actually saw that it was in my local store, so I very quickly headed on over. And ironically enough, even though I said I didn't want to blind buy this fragrance, they actually didn't have this out, so they had to go in the back and get it for me. They didn't have any testers or anything, so even though I waited for it to hit my stores so that I could smell it in person and not have to blind buy it, I ended up blind buying it because they hadn't even put it out and they didn't have a tester for it. So I just took the box. I'm like, okay, I'll just try it out. If I don't like it, I could just return it. Now, I had really high hopes, but I do have some thoughts on it. So if you want to know all my opinions on this new Ellis Brooklyn Apple Love fragrance, then just keep watching. Please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and turn your post notifications on, and let's get started. So before I get into the actual perfume, what got me really interested in this perfume was these two other perfumes that I have in my collection. And the reason why I'm showing these is because these are like the top two most compared fragrances to this new Ellis Brooklyn perfume. This one was actually on like the #1 list at Fragrantica of like the perfumes this perfume is compared to list. It was Nina Ricci by Nina Ricci and also Kayali Eden Juicy Apple. This one even has the same vibe as Kayali Eden Juicy Apple. I mean, this one's called Apple Love. When I saw that this was in the mix and was being compared to this, I think this is what really made me want to be like, okay, whenever this hits my store, I'm buying it. I'm smelling it first and then I'm buying it, even though I didn't end up doing that. I really love this perfume, and I've only been able to find like a little 1 fluid ounce. I found this at, I think, a CVS, and I'm obsessed with this. And the reason why I'm obsessed with this is because this is like the scent of my childhood. I grew up wearing this. I grew up wearing Amore Amore by Cacharel. Those were like literally the scents of my childhood. So when I saw that Apple Love was being compared to Nina Ricci, that was like, yes, I'm gonna have to try that. Basically, it was compared to two perfumes that I really love. So I was just thinking, oh my god, what if it's like a perfect concoction of like these two scents that I already love? I'm gonna love this. So Ellis Brooklyn is more of a clean fragrance brand, and with that, although in the grand scheme of things it's a major positive, obviously it doesn't have all the chemicals of your typical fragrance, so that's a big plus. But on the opposite end of that, there is a little bit of a negative side to natural fragrances, and that is longevity. Most of the time, these scents, at least in my experience, maybe I haven't tried a bunch, but most of the time, most natural type fragrances don't last. Now, I do have another Ellis Brooklyn scent in my collection. I have Ellis Brooklyn Sunfruit. I have this one right here, and I love this fragrance. And again, this one does not last that much. It does last more than this, but it doesn't last that much. So right off the bat, I'm just gonna tell you this fragrance before I even get into what it smells like. It does not last on me more than, I would say, an hour is really pushing it. And that also has to do with the type of scent that it is. I feel like if it was like a more sweet, a scent that had just a lot more depth in it, maybe that would help the longevity a little bit, but because it's more on the fresher side, that also kind of takes away from the longevity. So if longevity and performance of a perfume is something that is really important to you, then right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you this right now, this, at least on me, maybe it's different on you, but on me, it does not last. Now let's get into the notes of this perfume. So this has top notes of peach, red apple, green mandarin, middle notes of plum blossom, sugar cane, osmanthus, and lily of the valley, and base notes of Madagascar vanilla, musk, ambroxan, and sandalwood. pretty good notes, pretty standard for the name. I mean, obviously you have that red apple, so you would assume even from the name that it's gonna have an apple scent to it, and it totally does. When this opens up, you get all of those top notes. You get that bright, fresh apple, and I think the peach and the green mandarin, like just the tartness from those two scents kind of, I think, mimics slightly the scent of Nina Ricci. Now, am I gonna call these dupes or even in the same scent family? No. So that was the first disappointment I had with this. I was expecting, since this was literally the first perfume compared to this, I was expecting a good amount of this type of scent to be in here, and it's not. I do not find these similar at all. Nothing at all about this gives me Nina Ricci. Maybe just that tiny bit of like tanginess that this has, like slightly. If I can give any percentage of comparison between these two, it would be like maybe 10% similar, and maybe that's even pushing it. That was disappointment number one, and the longevity. So already two major disappointments with this perfume. This is a nice scent, but for me, that's kind of where it ends. It's not blowing me away. It's not like, oh my god, this is the best perfume ever. It's a nice, standard, average, fruity floral type of scent. It's not much complexity to this. It's not much uniqueness. And especially when you have a large collection like me and you've tried so many different types of perfumes, I feel like I have some variation of this perfume in my collection. I will say it does have a little bit more of a similarity to Eden. So these two are kind of similar. I still prefer Eden though. This one is straight up red apple mixed with berries. Like, it's just way more right up my alley. And this, just like this, which I'm gonna get to, is also like this shampoo-y type sweet fresh scent, but this one on me lasts a long time and it just has depth to it. It has character. It smells sexy to me. It's so good. Way above this in my opinion, so I prefer this way more. This one has like maybe a sliver of Kayali Eden, but it's got nothing on Kayali Eden. I would say as standout notes, it would be that red apple. I do get a little bit of the florals in here, nothing that I can really pinpoint. Like, I don't know which one I'm exactly smelling, but I can smell a floral touch to it. And then as far as the base notes, I don't really particularly smell the Madagascar vanilla. It does have a sweet vibe to it, not too much depth. It's a very light amount of sweetness, if anything, but I guess it's like it's giving this some sweetness, okay? But for the most part, it's a musky, fresh, fruity scent with a hint of floral. It's giving body spray vibes. It's very like shampoo-y. It smells like those little kid like leave-in conditioners, like not leave-in conditioners, I think just like detanglers that your mom used on you when you were a kid, and they smelled all like fruity and fresh and bubbly and fun, you know, that little kitty type of smell. That's what this reminds me of. I wish there was just more to this perfume, and I was expecting more, especially from the perfumes that it was compared to. Them being such big favorites of mine, I was hoping this was like gonna blow me away, or for it to have been just like an even better version of those, and for me it wasn't. So this was a bit of a disappointment. Kind of sad that even though I waited and didn't order this online, I still ended up just blind buying it at the store, even though that was not what I wanted to do. But at that point I was like, okay, I'm already here. I'm not gonna make a million trips just to buy this fragrance, so I just got it. But to be completely honest, I don't think I'm gonna keep this in my collection. I have way too many perfumes that smell similar to this that I love way more for me to ever reach for a fragrance like this. And then the longevity obviously just puts the cherry on top. I'm like, it literally lasts barely an hour. I'd rather pick up any of my Bath & Body Works sprays that smell fruity fresh, and I probably have one that smells very similar to this. It's not doing anything for me. Yeah, I'm disappointed in this perfume. I don't want to discourage anyone from buying this scent, especially if you don't have like these types of scents and you love fruity, florals, appley type scents. It's a nice scent. This entire video is not me saying this is a bad scent by any means. It smells really good, but like I said, I have variations of it. It doesn't last. It's not a unique scent, and not only do I have perfume variations of it, but I have probably 1,000,001 body sprays that I have that could easily replace a scent like this. That is my full review on Ellis Brooklyn Apple Love. I feel bad. I actually am a big fan of this house. I think they make really great scents. Some of my top favorites would have to be, well, Sunfruits. I love Sunfruit. It gets me so many compliments. My husband loves it. I really love Myth by Ellis Brooklyn, which I don't have in my collection, but I have tried it. And I would say it's kind of in my fragrance list. Myth is like a very sophisticated, fresh, kind of musky scent. It smells really expensive. I would say Sunfruit and Myth would have to be like my top two. I really like Salt as well. And I know that they have this really sweet one. I think it's literally called Sweet, or I think it's like Milk or something. I'm gonna pop it up right here if I can remember, but I have smelled that in store and it actually smells really good. If you're into gourmandy, vanilla, like deep vanilla type scents, that's a really nice one. I just haven't picked it up because I have scents I could replace it. So all in all, this is not a house that I don't like. I think it's great what they're doing as far as them being a clean fragrance brand, because I definitely think we need that nowadays, and there is a lot of toxins that are in the fragrances that we use, unfortunately, but it's still, perfume is not something I'm gonna give up. So yeah, so it is what it is. I'm gonna still continue to use chemicals if I have to. But it is nice to have these alternatives, especially if you're somebody that takes like natural scents really seriously. I know a lot of people have a lot of like allergies and things like that, so this type of house may be something you'd want to look into. But that was my opinion on it. Let me know what you guys thought about this. If you've smelled it, please leave me all your opinions in the comments down below. But that is it for me today. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!